Egypt Hollow Revised Mix.
Why? This anticipation.
Dad?
The apocalypse is a slow process, not one big bang.
Dad?
It's a gradual, boring decline into apathy. So, we don't even know when we are.
Dad?
Really. That's the only way the end could come, right?
Hey, Dad.
With disdain and general indifference.
What do you want? What do you want?
Who cares? That's the apocalypse.
Samuel, wait for your father in the barn.
Egypt Hollow was the name of the farm. And there was this thing I found about a night. Went out looking for adventure in the time of the bubonic plague, the Black Death. And he rode trembling all through the place, his plume shaking. Didn't have a page or nothing, 'cause he didn't want the plague. But there was lots of bad at that time. Folks getting hung from trees by their thumbs and breasts. Babies getting torn apart and burned alive. So that night figured he'd be real busy fighting the bad. And he set out in a full suit of shiny armor to find it.
Howdy.
Can I come in? I'm glad I caught you before you'd left. We've got a whole pile of real neat stuff for you to choose from here. Books, boys, dogs, books. Have you seen? Looky here. Look. Looky here. Look at that. Oh, come on. Looky here. Look at everything's for free.
I had too seen pictures of the Civil War they're burning. Families shooting cannons at each other in their backyards. And the night was there riding along to the States, 'cause I guess in the Civil War, they were eating soldiers real bad. So now the tall man came, bringing that scarecrow, playing and tossing the scarecrow to the clown, back and forth. Finally, he pushes the tall man over and grabs the scarecrow. He's coming back.
You heard what I said, and you know it by heart. I'm here, not you. And I'm not the one who decides it all, so get out, all of you. And Hanky, too, if you're still around.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you have?
Nothing.
that a scarecrow?
This? This isn't a scarecrow. It's a rocket!
And there was even one. Seavor the aeronaut, who rode up high in the big balloon, puffing and rolling around. It was big, the balloon, like a cloud mountain. And they had to tie him a rope up to pull him down to the camp. That balloon they called the monarch rag, 'cause it was like a giant cloud all patched out in different pieces of cloth and ladies' old underpants. But it floated away. That the cord broke from something, and the Seavor the aeronaut floats off into the atmosphere. Monarch rag. So, I don't know what the knight ever did. Just trot along the old dirt roads to the south with his plume shaking, looking for adventure. I don't know how he didn't find anything in the middle of a war like that, but he never did nothing anyway.
How many times? Back and forth to the burn barrel. I couldn't say. Always dragging something, dropping it in, watching it burn. I can still smell it. You can smell it all the way down the hill to Hankey's and to Whitmire's by the hollow. I asked him once, I said, why are we always burning all this stuff? I remember he turned, said, the burn barrel man wants it.
Stick your finger in the crow's nest. The crow isn't home. The crow went to Billywhack to find a white stone. Here he comes! I believe that you have something that's mine. Now, there's lots of stuff up here that you can take in place of that book. But I've got to have it back. Now, hurry up. There isn't very much time. You awake or asleep? Hello? Looky here. I've got a secret, which if you knew would make quite a difference one way or another. Everything you do of every second of every day determines what your life is. And if you don't know what the consequences are of your actions, then how can you live like that when it happens constantly every second of every day? Come on. You wouldn't be here without me. Now, open up. Give just a little. Let me take just a little peek.
I declined.
Froggy went a courting and he did go, Froggy went a courting and he did go, Froggy went a courting and he did go down to the Coconut Grove for the midnight show, Miss Mousy was a hat check girl, Miss Mary was a hat check girl, Miss Mary was a hat check girl, Froggy went and did go, Froggy went a courting and he did go, Froggy went a courting and he did go down to the Coconut Grove for the midnight show, Miss Mousy was a hat check girl,
Miss Mary was a hitcher girl. Miss Mary was a hitcher girl. How you Little Miss Mousy, won't you marry me? Little Miss Mousy, won't you marry me? Little Miss Mousy, sing along with me. Not without my parents' consent. Not without my parents' consent. I wouldn't marry the president. He ain't no froggy but a horny toad. You ain't no froggy but a horny. Can you feel it? It's coming. The end of the world.
So it was raining, and then the knight was riding along the slippy, muddy road, and the horse slipped and shot and toppled the knight to the ground. He fell in the mud, slapped and popped and sucked. He lied there because he couldn't get up from the weight of all the armor. He couldn't move, just lie there. Which I guess was too bad. After the war, they caught this kid running through the black chimneys there. The whole town was burnt. And asked him what he was eating. Grasshoppers and worms.
I would look in there and watch things burn, shrivel up, disappear. I'd go back and dig in the bottom there, where things wouldn't burn all the way. Pictures, old photographs, old news articles and stories. I kept them and saved them in an old accounting book I found. Put them together, all those different pieces of papers. Try to put together a single story out of the parts I could still see and read. And I guess I was always afraid the burn barrel man would come, wanting that book back.
I decided never to do it again. I can't lie to myself.
What you watching?
Yeehaw! How's that? A little more entertaining?
Yeah, that's what's really important, isn't it? Yeah. Now, that is not a rhetorical question just because you do not know the answer. Fancy that! Enough shenanigans. Let's get down to business. You are going to hell, boy. When the Russians launched their PSYOP full-scale thermonuclear attack, you're a target. Now, I got here a map that we can go over that'll show you the exact locations those bastards are gonna bomb. You know, Hanky, that retarded farmer over the hill? They are gonna bomb the living mother out of that boy. He's got sheep. Little man, I am in the employment of the apocalypse. I'll make sure that...
So by this time the suit of armor is rusted, and the knight calls to the horse and reaches up, grabs the reins, and screams at the horse to run and pull him up. but his heel slipped, and he's dragged down the road on his face. So he lets go and lays there, just in the middle of the road. Doesn't call nobody for help, because I guess he didn't want nobody to touch him and get the plague. So he just laid there in the wet mud, rusted, shriveled up, sore, bleeding, wasted, an exoskeleton. Just lies there, rots away like a terrible worm in an iron cocoon. The clown was running around across a big field of corn, hooting and hollering 'cause his pants were on fire, until he fell into a muddy creek and all his makeup melted off. And he floats away.
Samuel, I know you're in there. You can't stay in there forever. Open the door. It was an accident. And besides, woodchucks don't have feelings. They don't. They live by the law of the survival of the fittest. And
a rodent being that close to the house just doesn't stand a chance.
now, I've cleaned off your baseball bat and I
Threw the woodchuck in the garbage.
Now, you come out of there and help me finish up this wood pile. When I was 12 years old,
Up on Old Egypt Road, I had a pet.
a goat,
He was just like a dog.
Josephus. And Josephus was dirty and stank bad.
That's because when goats pee, they pee on their whiskers.
And he was old and ugly, dehorned, but we played together. We played in the barn here. And he would climb over the rafters in here just like a dog. Goat. And then I got appendicitis.
Went to the hospital in quite a while.
And when I got back, we all had supper together, grandparents, brother, sister. And I remembered, and I asked where Josephus was. They wouldn't answer. Finally, I found out that Josephus had eaten Grandma's rose bushes, and Grandpa went and shot him. And right there at supper is what we were eating was Josephus, roast Josephus. 10 years later, I got his skin as a leather coat. So now you're in there crying, and that woodchuck of yours doesn't even have a name. So you come out of there and you help me with this wood pile, or I'll bring this trap in here.
Got you out of there, you worthless bastard! You should never have been born! You left a book behind, and now you're mine!
So I finally got you out of there. Left your book behind and finished the one pile. Singing in your own God Bless America. Doing the 1-2 waits on you and me. Feel it, huh? Feel it, won't you?
So, I finally got you out of there, you worthless bastard! You should never have been born! You left a book behind, and now you're mine! It's all over now! It's all over!
So now the barn's burned down and the farm's the forest. And the end is come and gone.
Samuel. Hey, Samuel. Samuel.
What do you want?
Come on back.